Good evening, everyone. I am back again here with you this evening, like I said I would, and we are going to get into it. Okay, I just wanted to share the real men behind the Diddy parties and who was really running this enterprise and sex trafficking. Who's the top guy here? Well, one of the top guys, but where do he get his connection that this thing been going on? And people have made all kind of complaints against Clyde Davis from which you're going to hear in this video. But he's never been arrested. He's never been no exposure on him, no whatsoever. Lately, all these videos popping up now with people teaming with Clyde Davis to, you know, say more on Diddy and more on Jay-Z and things on R. Kelly and things that are on now Oprah, Tyler Perry, Monique, all that stuff's just going on with the community of artists from, you know, the black people that's there, okay? For all the black people that's there, all the artists from years and generations I shared with you this morning, Clyde Davis popped up with Barry White. Barry White been dead how many years now? And I'm going, we going way back. Way back. Only thing that he ever did was write some bad checks, whatever, through his career when he was working under, I think it was Columbia, if I'm not mistaken. It was either Columbia Records or whatever was his career back then. He was the big man. You heard the video, right? So I did share all of that with you in the video about who are the three top guys running this thing with sex trafficking, organized crime. Bodies are showed up, these artists and everything showing up being, silenced or put them unalived. Angie Stone, what happened to her a couple of weeks? Who name popped up right before her untimely death? Clyde Davis, right? It has some Diddy in it and it has some Davis in it. I didn't hear her talk about R. Kelly. And I'm just gonna keep it real. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. His name being mentioned or anything from Angie. So who's running this enterprise? This organization of all of this crime, prostitution, like I said, which now they use as sex trafficking, making up these model agencies and young girls that want to be in like celebrity videos or models or whatever they are, dancers, and all of the other stuff for entertainment, right? Now, but it's only just Diddy doing this and R. Kelly and Jay-Z, right? So let's look. Okay, Clyde Davis been around longer than all of these kids. These kids wasn't even thinking about coming into the world. These men wasn't even coming into the world when this man was doing the stuff he been doing. He's the eldest out of all of them. He's the oldest out of all of them. Believe me, if this was Motown, like Barry, Gordy, and who knows if Motown was even being run by Barry Gordy. You know what I'm saying? Like Gordy Records. I remember when they were Gordy Records. I remember my mother having that blue, and I think it was the color was blue and silver was the colors of that organization. I mean, of that record company. I hate when people do that. But anyway, I remember what the record looked like. The Gordy record. I think that was the color of it. But anyway, y'all. And we know that some of the things these men did, some of them they gotta be held accountable for. And I mean, come on now, like as a grown man, after a while, as a grown man, you don't have to be listening to nobody telling you something you already know that ain't right. And you gonna do it anyway because somebody else is telling you to do it. You gotta learn how to use your manpower at some point. And I think that's what they feared about R. Kelly, because R. Kelly was using his manpower. He was like, look, I'm not selling y'all my records. Y'all not getting my records. Da 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 da. These are my kids. I'll protect them with my life. You know what I'm saying? And they know R. Kelly wasn't giving in, giving up. He's asking, where is my money? R. Kelly been fighting with them for years, just like Angie been fighting with these wicked, greedy companies for years, canceling his contract, trying to bankrupt him, and everything else like that. But he's been in this battle for a long time, y'all. So if he got, God didn't bring him this far to forsake him, and that's why I know in my heart that he is the most innocent among all of them. When I say innocent, his crime is petty compared to what their crimes are. Only crime R. Kelly may have had that he was involved with was none of them. According to man, it was a crime to man and sin to man. I mean, not crime, but sin, whatever, whatever, was when he, this is how I look at it, is when he just didn't stay in his marriage. But even now that I'm starting to think about the marriage, I think the marriage was sort of like a way for them to sanctify him. You know what I'm saying? You know how people, because his first attempt with them, with this record company and with these people, is when they got him on some child porn. Okay, when they stuck that on him and they had the video, it was grainy. Of course, most witnesses couldn't really see who the man was. Some people, because it had a certain silhouette, like R. Kelly. I would say I call it a silhouette because you couldn't really recognize the guy in the picture, and sometimes people can look like a double. They could get doubles. This is an entertainment world, y'all. People know how to do all kind of tricks and things back then in entertainment with cameras. They use somebody else's body for a certain part. And they got that today. They could do that to anybody these days. That's why I said don't go for it. It's the devil's playground. Messing with your mind. You gotta be a free thinker. You gotta make a better, you have to be use discernment. You gotta be able to see. That's why with that tape, I'm thank God when it was going around in the hood, bootleg out there, when they was doing that stuff out there in the ghettos of the urban, the New York City ghettos, when they were selling those bootleg video of R. Kelly with this minor. Not only was it sex tapes out on the street about R. Kelly, but see, R. Kelly was at the time, he was the hot throb. You know what I'm saying? He was the hot throb. So you got to look back. R. Kelly being a hot throb, you don't want to really go by, comply with some of the shit y'all want to control him with. He's gonna stand up for himself, especially when he know he worked for something and he's getting cheated out of his wages. And he's been fighting with this company for many years. Other Lego companies, they pulled him off. They, like I said, they didn't invest no more in him, his concerts and everything. They pulled him out. He lost a lot of money. They kept coming at him with all kind of stuff with the superstar. They kept coming at R. Kelly and stuff with claims that he was having lawsuits with minors and all this other stuff, and they kept settling these cases. And for all we know, R. Kelly probably wanted to fight them. But these are the things they were telling him to do. And he listened and went along with their program at that time. He thought they the lawyers, his representatives, and that's what we do. We can't fight it on our own. We got to get somebody else to be the mouthpiece for us or whatever to fight, because we don't know the law book. They know the trick. They know the law books. They know the code. They know the language. We don't. If you the product they selling out there, you don't know the language. You really don't understand anything about the law when it comes to music and entertainment law or whatever with contracts and stuff like that. So you don't know. So anyway, moving forward. So we all know that as we mature in age, we get more and more wisdom. So I'm coming up with R. Kelly at this time. So I'm telling the story from what I felt at the time about what was going on around him then. back in 2002, his trial, what was being every time radio personalities would get on and they make an announcement to, or they will start to play a new R. Kelly song, and then you know how they talk about the artist, and they talk about some personal things the artist might be going through. They giving you some, celebrity gossip and news or whatever. So these were the gossip things around R. Kelly all the time, even when you heard it on the radio. And the thing that bothered me the most is that even back then that this entertainer was doing what he was doing for the record companies and making the money, the business, and bringing more and more revenue or whatever, selling out at concerts and everything. He worked. I'm saying he worked. So anyway, next thing you know, just in case he really try to bring any kind of thing, allegations against us for any of our owing him money or anything like that, that we not paying him, anything he try to bring attention to the public or whatever like that, we got this on him. So they had hired this reporter, writer, whatever, named Jim Zargaris, because he was a part of it too. He was a part of the whole setup. This this man that was stalking R. Kelly, getting these things about R. Kelly, whatever he's doing, every little detail of whatever he's doing for the day, and hooked up with Lisa, whatever her name is, Van Allen, hooked up with Lisa Van Allen. How they set the whole thing up, bring these young girls around R. Kelly, bring them around. Um, it's just something that just happened. College girls that be on their little spring break, like it's going to be ready to start now, the spring break. They go to their little freak meek, they throwing parties, and then the next thing you know, they there, they scouting them out. That's how this whole thing connected R. Kelly with schoolgirls. Many schoolgirls he probably was with was college girls. How about that? College girls, old enough and legal. Okay? College girls that are old enough and legal. So anyway, so y'all got to remember, I grew up on this R&B stuff. I grew up in this hip hop culture, when it first gave birth, and everything was going through all its different changes. Okay, as things was evolving, as things was changing, transitioning, and I've been around, like I said, for 3 decades and a half, almost. I don't know, almost four. So, like I said, to I say it like this to people and everything, that's why when you get caught up in scandal, gossip, rumors, it's not a good thing. You got to see things for yourself. You got to know these people personally, but you share your own personal story of what you enjoy about a person that you seem to be protecting right now. Like where you see their innocence at. I mean, you got to explain, like, look, okay, I ain't never seen no shit like that before, and I ain't never heard no stuff like that before, but from you, okay? So you ain't gonna come and put no plant, no, evil, ugly, gossip, dirty stuff in my head to make me believe that this is true about someone. Because I would like for somebody to do it for me if I was in any kind of major trouble and my life was hanging on the line. I'd like somebody to step up and fight for me, to protect me. So, anyway, pay it forward. So you can't. I see some of the comments in there, and I say these people look like they still in high school, and they just on the internet, and then just the grammar and the conversation and how they talking in the conversation. You can tell a level of experience, they level with life. You can tell how much education they had, and even if they had an education and they trying to sound intelligent inside of the comment field, you could see it right there. Even when they claiming themselves to be a Christian, but you can see it inside the comment field that they claim to be Christians, but they're really far from it. Okay? You can read it, you can feel it, you can tell it, no matter how much they could be to have a doctor's degree in education, whatever, at the highest level of writing. But if they got evil in their heart, you could see how empty inside they are, and also the stoneness of their heart. and that they're not telling you something that you feel confident about, or something that you feel is really like true. You could tell it's a lie. It won't pierce through you. So you can just tell. You could feel phoniness in people. You could see. You could just feel it. And the thing is that how I know Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly is protected around all this, because once people come around him, you're gonna feel a certain different way. And once you start hearing his songs and his music and everything, it's going to touch you in a certain different way than any of the rest of them. No matter, even I could say Kelly could be singing the worst song, but there's still through that song you could feel this man have love in his heart and compassion. His heart is not a hard heart. He's not an evil man. He didn't do no evil things like this. He didn't harm any female children any kind of way, and especially to black little girls. Okay? And that's what they used against him, to say he was harming black little girls, to destroy him in the black community, of the people that are his own people. This is the psychology that they use. This is what they use. This is how the devil will try to play in your head in the playground. Okay, so anyway, he'll try to use you against you. But anyway, let's listen to this video, because I was sitting here laughing. I hope I have enough. Yeah, I got enough this time, because, woo, child. Last time I came on here and everything, I don't know where I was at as far as any juice on my phone to complete this conversation with you. But let's go to the video.
Rumor has it, allegedly, Diddy got on his knees for Clive Davis in 1994.
He got a boss too, and his boss name is Clive Davis. Clive run him. Diddy don't run himself.
Some people question how Diddy became so evil. Well, it turns out he's just like his mentor, Clive Davis. This creepy man taught Diddy everything he knows: how to use people, take advantage of their body, and dispose of them when they aren't worth any more money. Clive Davis is a sick man, and we are exposing him in this video. So let's get into it. If you aren't subscribed to the Let's Get Into It podcast, then you're only getting half the tea. For longer videos, deep dives, and of course, more of me, subscribe to the Let's Get Into It podcast listed in the description below. We're going to be talking about a controversial man who has caused a lot of chaos in the music industry. His name is Clive Davis, and a lot of you have requested that I take a deep dive into what he's been accused of. Now, Clive Davis is an American record producer and music executive. He's an older man. He was born in the 30s, actually 1932. Clive has had a significant impact on the music industry, having worked with numerous iconic artists and being responsible for signing many landmark musicians. He's won 5 Grammys. He's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so he's been around. In 2013, Clive actually came out as bisexual. At this point, he was 80 years old, and he revealed this in his memoir. And there's not a lot of people in 2013 who's just really coming out, and then we've got this 80-year-old guy who's been around a ton of musicians who now announces he's been in a long-term relationship with a man, which I'm all about.
In your book, you reveal that you are bisexual. Why did you wait so long, Clive, to make that public?
I was only turning to bisexuality after my second marriage failed. When the marriage failed in the mid-'80s, I opened myself up to the possibility that I could have a relationship with a man, as well as the 2 that I had with a woman.
Now, there's a connection between Diddy and Clive. Back when Diddy was young, he was a vodka promoter. He really didn't have much of a career happening, but he wanted to start a record label. When he met Clive, Clive was rather established, so he was 23 and able to convince Clive to take hip-hop seriously, and Clive actually funded him and helped Diddy build Bad Boys. It's actually speculated that Diddy and Clive were in a relationship based on how quickly Diddy's record label Bad Boys became successful. This person tweeted that Diddy was given his Bad Boy imprint by Clive Davis, who is openly gay. I mean, he says bisexual, but what Diddy had to do for riches is not uncommon for successful black men in entertainment and in politics. All that glitters is not not gold. Run your race. Let the next man run his. Interesting. Now, a lot of people believe that Diddy is the way that he is. I mean, we've talked about him in countless videos at this point because of how Clive kind of groomed him to be this way.
My focus right now is Sean Combs.
Okay. Tell us why. Tell us why.
Because he's a trafficker. And he's using music and entertainment to traffic.
Now, is this just boys, girls, adults, kids?
I mean, from what I've heard from sources that I would consider reliable, it really doesn't matter.
Wow.
I don't think something that has anything to do with gender at this point for Sean. I honestly think he's just an extreme narcissist who loves power. He loves the ability to manipulate and control people. Why? Most likely because he was victimized by his mentor, who loved to control people.
And his mentor was
Andre Harrell.
Tell us how
He was mentored by Clive Davis.
Don't tell me that Andre Harrell got touched by Clive Davis too.
I'm telling you, I don't know what happened between Andre and Clive. What I do know is that Andre got passed over. Like, how do you go from being the president of Uptown and losing your entire company to your intern?
So really what she's saying is that Diddy was Clive's favorite, and that's why he was immediately put onto this pedestal at a young age, really no experience, and now he's running everything. Now, Diddy has honored Clive throughout the years, so they still maintain a decent relationship. In 2019 at the Grammys, he was quoted saying that Clive Davis and Arista Records gave him a chance when he was starting Bad Boy Records. He was one of the first industry executives to really believe in him, in Diddy, and he's forever grateful for Clive.
Bad Boy Entertainment. I named it a Bad Boy because I wanted to go against the grain. Anytime you go against the grain, they consider you like kind of bad. Nothing negative, nothing like hardcore. Just, I didn't want to be regular.
So,
And even all this evil stuff they saying about Diddy, you know, and I have been, and I said this before, around Diddy as just a person that saw him, because my roommate at the time, I was a young girl, we both were young, sharing, I was just getting out of marriage and trying to start my life all over again. So anyway, my roommate used to work for Bad Boy Records, okay? And then I think it went to Uptown or whatever, something like that. It transitioned, just a name change. So it was so long ago. And she was like, yeah, they up here. Because I was at that time at, you know, Junior Mafia, all that stuff was coming out. And I had my likes, my fans, Little Kim, all of that stuff. So I said, I'm going to come up there. I want to see if they ever be up there in the studio and da-da-da-da, so I could get a chance to meet, you know, some of whatever one of them, Biggie, Little Kim, or Junior, somebody from at that time. So her job wasn't too far from where my job was. So when I got off from work, I stopped over by her job just to see her. Then I bumped somehow or the other into Diddy, and I was like, "Hi, whatever." He was really a nice guy. He was really pleasant and everything else. So that like kind of left an impression on me. So hearing all of this ugly stuff out here in the streets about him, I'm not really going by the street talk. I'm not going by the rumors and the gossip and everything because I never seen it. I was never around it. I didn't see it. But when I did meet him, just a random person on the street, or just a person who was at the time they coming up in their craft, him coming up in his craft, got a chance to meet the young man, the young, inspiring, entrepreneur. I, it was just something exciting to see, a mirror of yourself, of your people, doing great things with their life and running, being the people that are in the head and they not the tail or whatever. You see some people working on their craft and they doing certain things, so you give them that respect. When he started out, he was young. So, like I said, at the seat of God, there's grace. There is grace. At the throne of God, there's grace. So let's go on with the video.
Clive was ultimately impressed by Diddy's vision and decided to fund his project. He immediately took Diddy under his wing and they became the best of friends. And by best friends, I mean there are rumors that in 1994, Clive forced Diddy to do some intimate things to him to be his, mentee.
But he got a boss too, and his boss name is Clive Davis. Clive run him. Diddy don't run himself.
So, of course, all this talk about, Diddy has led to people talking about Clive. I mean, I genuinely believe that when you have been harmed, abused, you typically, or if someone is an abuser, they typically were abused themselves. Like, it's a cycle. Like, it happens to, someone doesn't just, they're not born doing this. It's kind of a learned behavior. It happened to them before. So if Diddy kind of operated in this mentality in this way, you must assume that he learned it from somewhere. But supposedly their relationship was more than just that. They went on to secretly date.
Rumor has it, allegedly, Diddy got on his knees for Clive Davis in 1994, and that's how Bad Boy Records came about.
This report claims that there's a over 500-page book filled with juicy behind-the-scenes stories of some of the best-known artists of our time. In Clive's book, there is over 500 pages filled with juicy behind-the-scenes stories. Some of the best-known artists are included, like how Janis Joplin suggested she perform a sexual act with him to seal their deal. Also, how John Lennon offered him insight to the creative process. And he also addresses false accusations of embezzlement that ended his career at CBS. But there are also some deeply personal revelations. Remember, he comes out as bi in this book. He talks about the end of his 2 marriages, and in the final chapter, he discusses his sexuality. Clive claims for the past 20 years, he's had 2 male partners, a doctor for 13 years, and then somebody else for 7 years. Somebody he will not name or give any descriptor. So, I wonder who that could be. When pressed about why he doesn't name the men he's had relationships with, he said it is their privacy he's protecting, not his own. Clive said that he and his current partner share the same experiences as any other. They travel and attend industry events together, but he prefers not to reveal his identity. We have seen Clive and Diddy at plenty of events together. I'm assuming he's talking about the doctor in this situation, but it is interesting to see that he is really protective over this other guy. I mean, if he said rapper, we would all know, and he knows that. It's speculated that Clive taught Diddy to take advantage of a younger, up-and-coming artist. We see this in many cases, one of them being Christopher Williams. Now, Jaguar Wright claims that Diddy had a meeting with a singer named Christopher Williams about possibly signing a demo deal. The attorney needed to get approval for some paperwork and went into Diddy's office. Actually, this attorney walked into Diddy's office and saw that Christopher Williams was performing, a blowjob onto Diddy. She walked in and it was a surprising sight, but it didn't bother the lawyer as much as it embarrassed her. She played it cool until Diddy brought it up the next day. He was allegedly aggressive, asking her if she intended on telling anyone. When she politely asked him why he hadn't locked the door, he reportedly replied, "I'll do whatever the F I want to in my building. It's power, see? If I can make a man suck my D, I could make people do anything for money." Ooh, okay.
There was a young woman, beautiful woman. She's a lawyer, or at least she was. She used to be an entertainment lawyer.
I don't know, but I don't believe everything comes from Jaguar White. I'm just gonna put that out there. When she telling this, but it's entertaining, but some of her things are a little bit to me like exaggerated stuff that she's making up. She's just making up stuff as to feed people this gossip and stuff because she has had a small career, in the music industry. She probably did get to try to meet some of them, but I doubt very much like things like this going on in their life. Like they got these things going on like love affairs and things they don't really want people to know about. They not really openly gay about. Um, I don't think they would allow Jaguar Wright to see all of that. They ain't gonna let outsiders see all of that. Even though you in there, they got their little small circle of friends and people they feel they can trust to be around. They ain't gonna bring somebody that they really don't know just there for to get an opportunity to have a career and to advance or whatever. But anyway, y'all, I don't know how much more I can explain this about Jaguar White. It'll just take me crazy. Things that's just be going through my head.
While she was working at Bad Boy, because she was one of the lead counsels for Bad Boy Entertainment, she witnessed something that was disturbing to her. But what was really disturbing to her was the conversation that she had with Diddy after. Christopher Williams, Puff was supposed to be giving him a demo deal, and he gave him a demo deal, and I guess it was supposed to turn into an album deal, which that never happened. But this young woman walked in to get approval on some paperwork. When she walked in, the door wasn't locked, so she didn't think twice about just walking in. And when she walked in, she saw Christopher Williams performing fellatio on Puff. He came into her office and was like, yeah, so you came in there, so what? What you gonna do? You wanna say something? And she was like, oh no, she was like, I just don't understand why you left the door unlocked. If you were in there doing that, why would you leave the door unlocked? He said, I'll do whatever I want to do in my building. And I just don't know. He was like, it's power, see? I can make a man, he said, if I can make a man suck my dick, I can make people do anything.
If I was that lawyer, I would feel so uncomfortable. I mean, I would want to quit, but I feel like if they were to quit, then like Diddy would go after them to try to keep his secret a secret. It's also speculated that Clive taught Diddy to take out anyone or any artist if needed. It has been alleged that Clive took out Whitney Houston to make way for Brandy. It's also alleged that he took out Left Eye from TLC. This behavior can be seen in Diddy with Kim Porter, Biggie, and allegedly Tupac. So I'm not trying to throw some accusations here, but I mean, I do feel like this industry is cutthroat. Literally. Now, I don't know what Clive Davis has to do with Whitney Houston and her death, but they claim the drug dealers were to blame. And she was at the Beverly Hilton when she passed away. It's actually coming up on the anniversary of Whitney Houston's death, which is a very sad time for everyone. But Jaguar Wright goes into detail about how Whitney was controlled by these people and was harmed by them on occasion. I mean, maybe even more than on occasion, like pretty often.
Viola Brown, Bobby Brown's sister, has said on several occasions that she was beaten. They saw her body. She didn't just die in a tub.
Look, I heard something differently back in the time when Whitney was dealing with her addictions, and Whitney and her sister-in-law, was it her sister? It was Bobby Brown's sister. Something about Bobby Brown's sister and Whitney or somebody. They would like together getting high. They always got high together. You know what I'm saying? That was why she enjoyed being around Bobby and his family at the time, and you know, things of going on in that time and all of this stuff. So Jaguar, she found a way to make it sound even more interesting. So let's go on.
Like she was beat up. Her and Clive had a fight 2 days before. And from what I was told, Bobby Christina was present for some of that fight. And then the next thing you know, she's dead. Ray J was the last person to see her alive. He let the drug dealer in, but she was sober, right? But he let the drug dealer in that gave her the shot. And Brandy was the one that found her. But you know, they pledge allegiance to Clive too.
It is interesting to hear that Brandy could have a role in this. It makes me want to dive a little bit deeper into what Brandy's involvement is. Because 2 days before her death, Whitney crashed an interview and passed Brandy a secret note. It's speculated that Whitney was trying to warn Brandy that she was in danger. And here
now Brandy, this is like a real saga. Like it's like everybody getting dragged. You know, the music industry is just coming to an end. Because it's like everybody in there is corrupt. It's some dirt scandal. It's like that. What's that show that used to be? What's that show that used to come on and it used to be in the background about oh my God, the background of that show used to be I'm sorry, not the background of the show. It used to be a show come on television, and it was about all the scandal, the dirt, and everything. Empire. It sounds like something like Empire here right now. Like they write in the movie, because it's just like this whole, it's just going down the hole deeper and deeper and deeper. Everybody doing something that is unlawful. Crime is going on. Drugs. And it's just scandal. It's just so much. It's just so much going on in this Diddy shit. It's just too much.
there's a moment where she did pass her that note.
I'm just saying
we've heard Jaguar Wright share a lot about these people. Actually, I wonder like how she feels safe in this whole situation, especially talking about Diddy and what he's been up to.
I'm sorry, I'm a little upset about it. Cause Al B. Sure just came out of his coma.
Oh, this
I've
is
been
kind of
talking to
long
Al
ago.
and
When did this
we've been
happen? I
texting
missed
back and
all of
forth, and I'm
this.
just glad that he's alive to
That shows you how
text.
much I keep up with the
But when you think
gossip.
about Kim, I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, Al B. Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was going to meet up with him because we were in Vegas. And then the next thing you know, you want to know what they all had in common, though? The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books.
It is really scary to see all those members die, and it's kind of a money game. I mean, you know, he doesn't want to share any of the power with anyone else, so he's gotten rid of all of them, and plus he doesn't want that book out. I mean, it's giving very much like, I mean, of course Justin Timberlake did not try to do this to Britney, but he was super worried about this book and tried to legally go after her book where she exposed him. And looks like, you know, Diddy takes a different approach. He like literally goes after them and not in a legal way. Now, Biggie Smalls was killed in a drive-by shooting, which seems very convenient. And it turns out that Diddy and Clive Davis were really mad at Biggie for leaving Bad Boy Records. Maybe mad enough to, you know, pop one in him. I don't know.
Who do you think was madder than a mother outside of Diddy? Clive Davis. Clive Davis is going to say, we need to have a discussion with that guy there. Because this guy right here took a multi-million-dollar deal elsewhere, and he got famous through Arista and Bad Boy Records. How do this make us look? Our artists that we developed took a multi-million-dollar deal to our competitors. They used to go around and kill people for a price.
The death of Biggie Smalls and Tupac and all those people are a whole other video. And if you guys want those, comment below. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.
That was a. I enjoyed that video. I mean, I'm sorry, but I enjoyed that. I gotta tell what channel? What is his channel? Sloan. That's Sloan. Shout out to Sloan. Thanks for sharing this. Okay, Sloan don't know what's going on, but Sloan is like helping out somebody, putting this information out there using his platform. Good job, Sloan. I have to put a comment there. I will put a comment there, y'all, for Sloan. Yeah, so I'm laughing because this girl, Jaguar, but I still say, you know, Jaguar, some of her stuff is over exaggerated. Some of this stuff is over, but some things everybody should look into, like why are these 4 people dead? These people dead, and all these people are connected to each other. You know, and he is him and Al B. Sure, and Al B. Sure was even close to his death when he was going to put out this so-called tell-all book. Those were the words that were talking on the streets. So anyway, and then what happened when Diddy kids? Diddy was trying to, you know, travel with the girls. They graduated out of school and he was going on a trip with the girls or whatever. And they was going back to school or something. They was in college, the twins. And the next thing you know, they raided his house and they got the kid. They got the done with gunpoint and all this stuff pointing at their head and all this other stuff. It was terroristic. Okay, that was so uncalled for, and it just really did something to my spirit. Just hearing, this is how they raided Diddy's home, and then of course, they try to make a little arrest to one of the little, a little drug dealer, a little boy. Probably come over to the house sometimes and deliver the weed that they be smoking over there or whatever. But anyway, anyway, that died down. Then the next thing you know, Diddy was out riding his bicycle and having ice cream and enjoying himself in the sunshine. And yeah, they watching. And then finally they came to move in on him and arrest him and hold him without bail. So I'm like, oh, Frankie, I don't see anybody. I can't see anybody when I'm streaming like this in the chat. Yeah. But hi everybody in the chat. I can't really see what everybody's saying in the conversation if I didn't speak. Thank you for coming in. Please hit the like button. I'll greatly appreciate it. But thank you so much for coming in and watching this video with me. This was interesting. So, because I'm on the what you call it with Clyde Davis because after hearing his name popping up from artists, especially artists like Barry White and these people years and years ago, from years and years ago, these people been around from years and years ago. Okay, and these people have been wronged by that industry, and every time these people are talking about some of the people that wronged them in the industry, especially when it comes to black artists, it's Clyde Davis. That's what I'm here for. Even though I don't know if he got anything to do with R. Kelly, but I also, wanted to know about how Whitney and her daughter died the same way, and it was so tragically, so suddenly like that. And then, oh my God, there's a list of people that his name is popped up in so much corruption and behind some of these people, these artists, to they plight. And I'm like, I don't get why this man ain't never been questioned or on any of these things, brought in on any of these things. And he's been around. This man is almost, how old is Clyde Davis? Clyde Davis is almost 90 years old or whatever. He was born 1934, so that would make Clyde Davis, oh Lord, what year? We 34. Ooh, 1934. Okay. Wow. This man almost close to 90 years old and 80 whatever, but they locked up Bill Cosby. And how old was Bill Cosby? An elderly man, and they came for him when Bill Cosby was an elderly old man. When he wanted to make an investment to buy NBC, and he was talking about how racist and whatever these record companies and these Hollywood is, and the certain roles and things that they don't allow black people to be entertained by. They always want to show us ourselves in poverty, and movies that show us in slavery, things that's going to make us be enraged and angry with you or whatever like that. They always want to keep showing us what our past. We don't need you to show us our past, our history. But I don't want to get into that conversation because it will go so deep. It just will go so deep. And I don't want to get into that. But I'm just saying, everything you notice that everybody that they trying to lock up is only on hearsay and giving them these hardcore sentencings Okay, without evidence, just hearsay, just by hearsay. And people that just, it comes to that point where some people in your life you just going to have to say goodbye to. You're just gonna have to move on and do what you do and meet some new friends and meet a new life. You know what I'm saying? These are some people, you know what I'm saying? But it's not easy said than done. But I'm just saying some things. That's why you gotta forgive and move on, because forgiveness is not for them. It's for you. It's for you. It's for you to grow, for you to be able to go to your next level in life or whatever. You can't stay caught up in this stuff, because that stuff will come back and get you when you don't forgive. And that's the hardest thing in life that we all struggle with each and every day is forgiveness. Forgiveness is not the easiest thing to do, especially when the wounds are so deep. Like now, everybody's with this Monique thing, how she used this platform now to get the attention of the people about Tyler Perry and his phoniness. Okay, when he got up there using the word of God and in these celebrity lifestyle churches and doing things with TD. Oh, TD Jakes is. Everybody's wrapped up in religion. Is wrapped up on this stuff. Everything is wrapped up in this stuff. So I'm just saying, like when I heard them in the streets talking about this Monique thing, because I didn't really do too much listening about it, but I got snippets of it, and she's upset with Tyler over the apology that happened many, many years ago. Not many, many, many. It wasn't like it hasn't even been. It has been quite some time. You know, the years just holding on to stuff, just waiting for that opportunity to attack. But I guess it was the right time for her to attack because of the words he used of trying to express his anger towards what the people have done to her, have done to Angie, and how it's wrong to treat people like that. And right then and there, Monique is waiting for her apology, Tyler, that you said you were supposed to give her on the platform. You were supposed to, the things you and Oprah both did together to blackball her career. And I didn't follow up on a lot of stuff about it, but her and her husband both are like, look, this is some real hypocritical stuff he up here speaking. So Monique was like, okay, you in the public at this funeral for Angie Stone, and she get first before she went in on her attack at Tyler Perry. The first thing she did was show her love and respect to the family of Angie Stone's children, and also to Angie Stone fans, family, and friends. You know what I mean? And her sorority and her brothers and sisters and all the work that Angie. She gave respect to Angie. That was what she did. She gave her respect to Angie, but then she had to get behind some of the people that could have helped her, and they sitting up there acting like they didn't know what was really, really taking place in Angie's life at the time. But everybody kept their mouth shut because of the fact that they was just trying to say, yeah, look good for the public, just look good for the cameras, look good for all of the, other stuff, the grandstanding or whatever they looking for, the attention they looking for. Make them look like such a good, nice person in the sight of the people. But then again, she called out his fakeness, his phoniness, and he's got some part of it. He doing whatever, whatever. Everybody getting exposed in Hollywood, and he's part of Hollywood because he did movies and production, just like Diddy got his Uptown record deal and his thing to be able to have his own record labels and stuff like that. Bad Boy Records and Uptown Records was, of course, the other guy who's dead now. But anyway, but Diddy got to go from Uptown to Bad Boys and CEO and on to, over all of those young artists that was coming out doing whatever. So somehow or the other, you had to order to gain that promotion and have the career that you have and to have the success that you had to do a lot of people some dirty shit. Just keep it real. And you probably had to be able to do some things that you don't want nobody to get out and tell about you doing behind the scene. Either you did some freaky deaky stuff, or you took somebody you took part in participation in a body. Okay, you got some bodies out there. You got a body out there. You did something to be initiated, some kind of sacrifice you made, some kind of thing you did that nobody wants to get out, and they got that dirt on you of the things that you did. And they all coming down. I said from the White House to the outhouse. Okay? It's a lot of dirty politicians involved in this shit too. In the community. It's yes, there is some probably dirty politicians. You be surprised if they have to peel back that list of names. That's why I was like, oh, we got to cover this up. And the thing with R. Kelly being in there is just a cover. I mean, it's just like he was the little the little guy. But R. Kelly is they money making machine. You know what I'm saying? Like in some of these records, with whoever, R. Kelly makes money for them. R. Kelly can make money for them alive or dead. Alive or dead. And the way they was able to keep his royalties from him, they did it to others before him too. Look, Johnny Walker's story right there. Johnny Taylor's story right there. That should be also a way that you open up and see your things. All them other artists, they that put their lives, sacrifice their life, they families, they everything to make it in the industry, to make the money, the fame, the rich and the famous, the things they put out there to sacrifice to build up these big corporate record companies and Hollywood. But if anything, I think Hollywood will be a little bit more different than the music. The music companies, oh, most definitely, with the women that are in the music industry. Because come on, it's an entertainment business is always going to be very, very, you know, lucrative. Lucrative. It's yeah. So this is a very. It's not easy to take down a whole industry, but don't you know just come out and take these little teeny guys. You know, you talking about all the enterprise, whatever going on and everything. Y'all need to get to. Y'all know who the top guy is. You all know who the top guy is. God knows, and God is going to show us. And even with Harvey Weinstein and this, they somewhere they big guys in the music industry, but there's some bigger guys over them that's watching them, and they're pulling the strings, and how they covering up all sanctifying, keeping themselves, keeping them out of it. Everybody is involved. Everybody. Like I said, from the White House to the outhouse, and that's all I'm going to say. Yep, they do it for elections. They do it for the judges are all tied up in it. The judges in the courthouse, they got it all set up. They got it all sketched out, and they've been working on the story of how they're going to stitch this whole trial. The prosecutors, anyway, they in on it too. Some of their names is on the list. Don't get me fooled. The judge name is on the list, and the prosecutors. When it comes to sex, power, money, everything, people greed. People greed the things that they do. That's why you got to have your riches stored in Christ. All your riches and glory should be stored in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Should be stored in your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Not of this world. Not of this world. Because this world will drive you right into the pits of hell when you have love for this world. And when I say of this world, of the riches and the fame and all of that stuff will put people in hell. But when you just like to live your own little simple life, just a simple life, you can have peace on earth and eternally. But anyway, y'all, if I come back with anything else I could share with you, I'll be back. So tune in on the Casey McDaniel channel. Now, we've been discussing Clyde Davis today. He's been on. he's been. he's been my topic today. He's been the main topic today. So if I find out anything else, I'll